start with the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and prime with the ColourPop No Filter Concealer just because I want to make sure that I can cancel out the veins and discoloration on my eyes that you can most definitely see. You can just use a traditional eyeshadow base. I have two in my collection that I really like. However, the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base is really, really nice, but when I got this, at the time they didn't have the color, so this is just clear, and since I do want to focus on canceling it out today, this is not going to happen. The other one I have is the Benefit Air Patrol. Although I really, really like this and it does actually cancel out because it does have some coverage to it, I really despise the packaging. I think it's just ridiculous. This one is just gross because they think that you're gonna pat this and blend it out with this. This is not gonna do anything for you. But not only that, when you're cranking it out, it gets stuck in the middle right there and it just gets gross. And I think that they need to change the packaging on this to a regular doe foot applicator like this because it is just too much. It's not good packaging. But like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the ColourPop concealer. I am in shade 02. The shade 00, which is the first shade they have in the collection, is just a solid white. So this is gonna be the first actual color. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a tiny, tiny swipe to my lids. That is a lot more than I planned. I also like to add a little dot or two onto the outer corners right here because my under eyes tend to get very, very dry, and so does this outer corner, which then causes patchiness in my eyeshadow, and that is obviously not a good thing. So I just add an extra dot there, just kind of make a better base for the shadows later on. I'm going to go ahead and use this brush. I got this actually through Ipsy. Ipsy gives me a lot of brushes. I love them. But this is the Royal and Langnickel Precision Angled Brush. It's kind of like a dense kabuki angled brush. You can just use your finger. A lot of people just use their finger or a sponge. I'm just going to go ahead and use this because it actually blends out rather nicely, and I don't really like having concealer all over my finger. I am going to pull this downwards because later on when I do my base, it will hide that, but I just want to make sure this edge is blended and that outer corner does have some product on there, so later on my eyeshadows are not all patchy and weird. That can typically happen for me, just no matter the formula, that happens to me just because of the fact that I do have a drier eye area. I like to make sure that I really get into this inner corner here because I also have a lot of discoloration under my eyes. I will correct that later on when I do my base, but for now we're just going to put a little bit of whatever's left on the brush. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do this to go towards the upper brow. So now that I have that all blended out, I'm not going to set it because personally I found this concealer to be kind of a self-setting type of concealer, and it's not super tacky, so I don't feel the need to do so. However, I do recommend that you do set your bases for the most part. I know that some people like to use a P. Louise base and they never set it because it gives a lot of pigmentation. It will give you a lot of pigmentation, allow the color to stick to your eyes a lot better. However, it also can make it a little more difficult to blend out shadows. I just want to make sure that I don't have to worry about that later on. I'm going to be using the Morphe 35B palette. Now, I believe that this one is no longer made from them, but they replaced it with the James Charles palette. It is just a rainbow colored palette. I'm mainly going to be using the green in this palette because this is going to be a green look. Really quick side note, if you guys are wondering where I got these dangly shamrock earrings from, I got them from Walmart. They were really, really affordable. I thought they were really cute, so I picked them up. So even though I'm going to be doing a green look, I do still want to apply a normal transition color, like a nudie color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this color as you're seeing. And I'm going to be focusing this towards the upper crease just to ensure that later on I'll be able to blend the green shadows out more. And I'm only doing this once or twice, tapping off a little bit of the excess and blending it. Now whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to go upwards toward my brow to make sure that it will be able to blend out a lot better later on. I do want to say I'm dipping very, very lightly for this shade into the pan just because I don't want a lot of color for it. I just want to make sure there's something there so later on I can blend it out a lot easier. So what I'm going to apply this shade is in the upper crease area. So I'm going to mainly focus on the inner corner and the outer corner. I'll still blend right here, but this is just to ensure that later on, once again, you're going to hear me say this a lot, it's very blended. There's pretty much no product on the brush, even though it does look like there is. I'm just going to kind of go upwards slightly to help blow out the eyeshadow. So as you can see, there's a very light green color. It's easier to build than to take away. I'm going to go ahead and get the darker green color, tap it off, and I'm going to go ahead and pack very lightly onto the inner and outer corner. I do the outer corner first because I don't want to make it too dark in the inner corner, but I still want to have a halo eye. My eyes are very small and that can cause my eyes to even get smaller, so I'm just going to very lightly pack that. Pack. Once I have a good amount on there, I'm going to slightly connect the two by very light blending motions. And once again, when there's practically nothing on the brush, you're going to blend upwards a little bit, not too much. I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding and building. Like I said, it's easier to build than do too much and take back. Even though there's shadow kind of getting on the center lid, I'm not going to worry about that because I will be applying concealer. Try not to have very centered because it's going to be easier for you later on. So packing and blending in little motions, very tiny, just enough to blend it out but not to make it go everywhere. So now I'm going to go ahead and dip very lightly into the dark green shade that I was just using, tapping off a little bit and touching the black shade just to deepen it a slight bit, because I want a lot more depth in this look. So I'm going to go ahead and still do the same area by packing inner corner and outer corner, focusing mainly on the outer corner at this point because I don't want too much black in the inner one. So when there's less product on the brush, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the inner corner. And now I'm going to lightly connect. I'm going to dip very lightly just into the black, just because I want to make sure that I'm able to add a little bit of depth and control where it's being applied. Tap off. Now since this is a very tiny brush, I'm actually kind of able to blend it a little bit because it's not a pencil brush and it's just ever so slightly fluffy. And since there's less product on the brush, I'm going to do the windshield wiper motions a little bit and bring it into the inner corner. I'm just going to go ahead and keep building until I get to a spot where I really like it. Now that I've gotten to this point, I'm going to go ahead and go back with this brush and apply a little bit of the dark green very lightly to blend the black a little bit into it and kind of make it more look like a dark green rather than a black on top of greens. The next step I'm going to go ahead and do is get my ColourPop No Filter Concealer and just apply it to the center of the lid. Since some of the color that I previously used got a little bit in the center and I don't want that because I really wanted to make sure it's a defined halo eye, I'm going to use this very tiny flat shader brush. It's very dense. Now I got this from some sort of palette. I don't recall what it is, but you can go ahead and use whatever brush you would like and prefer for cut creases. Do the smallest amount at first, enough to put a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do the swipe down the center to kind of figure out the first spot of where it's going to be, and the center, and swipe down. So I like to go just a little bit above where my actual crease is, just so I actually am able to see the cut crease even after I look straight outwards. Now a little trick that people like to do is to look and go like this, and then it puts the concealer kind of up. I don't like that trick. I kind of ruined that, but it's fine. We're just going to pretend like it didn't. As you can see, there's a little bit of concealer that went up a little more than I planned from that example of where people like to do that whole thing where they look upwards. I personally don't like doing that because I just feel like it causes the concealer to kind of glob up. So now I have more or less the shape I would like. I'm going to go ahead and just pack a light shimmery green onto the center Max Fix Plus. Spritz it once or twice just to allow it to be a little more shimmery, even though I'm going to go ahead and use glitter in a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and pack on that shimmery green. So now, as you can see, there's a little bit of concealer on each side. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip into that dark green that we used many times today and just blend on the edges of that shimmery green. This allows it to have a better transition. Now when I'm doing this, I actually like to pull in right here a little bit more so the cut crease has more of a V shape. As you can see, I pull it inwards. As I go to the top, I go outwards a little more, and I go right above the cut crease to add a little more depth. I'm going to dip lightly into the black and go right above that cut crease. I'm going to lift my eyebrows so I can really get in there and just do the same thing that I did to the outer corner to the inner corner where I just packed it along the edge. I'm going to go ahead and touch the light green just a little bit and go along the edging again just to kind of help fade the dark green into that light shimmer. I'm going to go ahead and now apply glitter. Too Faced glitter glue is my favorite. Like, I've tried a couple before and this has been amazing. I'm going to make sure I apply it towards the center, again, where the light green is, I am going to put a little bit kind of going outwards just to kind of blend it and kind of have the glitter kind of fade out. Go ahead and use this glitter. Now, this I actually got from a random boutique in my mall. I'm going to go ahead and lightly pack on the glitter. Now, once I feel like there's a good amount of glitter, I'm going to go ahead and get a very tiny brush like this, or any brush really, and just kind of move them around a little bit. Since it is a chunkier glitter, I'm able to kind of manipulate where it goes a little bit more so than a tinier glitter. I will say, when you're working with chunkier glitters, if you start getting higher, obviously it's going to get in your crease, and when you open your eyes kind of like that, it kind of makes a weird kind of crinkle, so just be wary of that. I'm going to go ahead and put a thin line of eyeliner. I'm going to be using Clinique Pretty Easy eyeliner in black. Now that I have applied the winged liner to both eyes, I'm going to go ahead and pop on some lashes. I'm going to be using these, which is the Eyelure Wispy 152. I'm going to go ahead and trim these really quick. These little scissors. Pop them on really quick off camera. I'm also going to go ahead and apply this mascara. I don't really care about this mascara all too much, but when I wear lashes, I don't feel the need to wear anything super crazy for mascara. So this is the Revlon Ultimate All-in-One with the red cap. A very tiny applicator that I like to use when I use lashes because it allows me to get really in there towards the root to help blend the lashes and the falsies together. I'm going to go ahead and prime. I like to use the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. And so I like to gently pack and slightly swipe when I apply this onto my skin. Now there is a couple flecks of glitter on my face because earlier today I got into a beauty store. Well, actually it's like a little boutique that I had gotten this glitter from, and they have glitter everywhere. So it got all over me when I was getting some. Let's pretend we don't see that. For my foundation, I'm going to go ahead and use this in the shade Fair Ivory. I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple swipes. I personally don't really wear super full coverage foundations just because I am someone that much rather go in with a full coverage concealer and touch up where it's needed, and I really like to have my freckles show through. Sometimes I like to use a brush with this, sometimes I use a beauty blender. The only brush I ever use with my foundations or anything is this crown brush. I don't know the number. It's just a small little brush. I don't know. I like it for my foundation, but today I'm going to go ahead and use beauty blender just because I really like the effect of beauty blenders. I really just like the effect that they provide onto the skin. It kind of allows the foundation to have moisture, and right now I'm a little bit drier, so I like to have that added moisture where I can. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the ColourPop concealer that I used earlier in the video to prime my eyes in the shade number 2. I'm going to go ahead and very lightly kind of like dot under the eye and kind of go outwards just because I'm going to blend and sharpen this wing on my eyeshadow a little bit. I rather have my acne spot show a little bit through rather than cake on a product and make it look really weird and then it shows the dry edges around it. I don't like that. So I do go light, and even if I have an acne spot, because I don't really mind having imperfections on my face. Like, I really don't care. I'm just going to tone down the redness a little bit, you know? Lightly tap. Now when I get towards the edge, I'm going to go ahead and use that brush that I did earlier to prime my eyes. And I am going to get the concealer again. Actually, I'm going to get the foundation and just very lightly clean up that edge a little more, because I really do kind of like it to be sharper, and clean up the top a little bit with whatever's left on the brush and blend out. So as you can see, I just made it a little bit more defined. I'm going to go ahead and put some powder. Go ahead and use this big powder brush and just kind of lightly stamp my face with it just a little bit. Just kind of set it. Because even though I don't put too much product on my face, I still like to set it. Make sure you get that jaw, because when you put bronzer or contour down there, you want to make sure it's able to blend very easily. And that's another reason why I do add powder, even if it's something that's self-setting or doesn't really need it. It can just help later on when you're putting things on top. And sometimes I like to use a sponge Today, I'm just feeling like using a brush. This is a Sony Kashik brush. The other one I just used was from Walmart. I don't remember what brand. It's probably just, I think it's just their actual brand. I'm just gonna lightly sweep this under the eye. This is a like tulip shaped brush. I'm not gonna worry about too much because it, like I said, this concealer is really good at self-setting for the most part. I'm gonna go ahead and bronze with the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is the light version of it. I honestly don't think this is a great bronzer. I don't know why people are so hyped about it, especially the smell. I think the smell is gross. I really do. I'm just gonna lightly bronze with it. I'm not gonna really do too much contouring today in all reality. I'm not gonna do any contour, I'm just gonna do bronzing. Typically, I love the Hoola bronzer. I love to use that as just a bronzer and a contour, honestly, because it's warm enough to be a bronzer, but it's cool enough to be a contour. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows off camera. I do wanna make my blush very neutral, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the Beige Cosmetic Nude Blush Palette. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom lash line. I'm gonna go back into that Morphe palette, a very light green. I'm gonna make sure I get it all over the brush. Now I really want to keep that halo shape, and I'm gonna make sure I keep the light green towards the center, even at the bottom. Get that darker green. I'm gonna do something that I've never done. I'm gonna add a little bit of chunks of bottom lashes. It's a little extra, I know, but you guys don't have to do it. I just decided to do it because why not? I'm gonna go ahead and do highlighter now. So I'm just going with a little bit of a nude shadow, and then I'm gonna do something a little bit bold here. I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of a yellowy gold kind of eyeshadow. I'm gonna get a little bit of that yellowy gold shade. I'm gonna highlight my eyebrow ever so slightly with it. It kind of helps overall look because it kind of adds a little bit of extra color without having green go straight to your eyebrows. So I'm gonna go a little bit more ham with it and allow the yellow to somewhat show my eyebrow because I don't really mind it there. And I think with the shadow, we are done, but I'm gonna go ahead and have to do lips. So this has been like my go-to lip duo. I don't remember what lip liner this is. It's completely rubbed off. I believe it's LA Girl or something. And I fill in the inner corners of my lips with the lip liner. So now that I have that filled in, I'm going to go ahead and use the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Lipstick in Moi. I love this shade. It's very nice and natural. And it smells like cake batter, honestly. I really like this. And I really like the formula. It's very, very soft. It kind of reminds me of the NYX Liquid Suedes. I think this lasts a lot longer. So now the lips are done. And I'm pretty much all done. I'm just going to put a little bit of setting spray. I've really been enjoying this Milani Make It Last. And with that, this is my St. Patrick's Day look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had actually really fun creating this. I spent a lot of time making this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And since you're down there, you might as well let me know what you guys would like to see next on my channel. And you might as well just hit that beautiful subscribe button and become a part of this family. And on that note, I'm gonna go because I spent way too long on this video that could took less than half an hour to film in all reality.
Probably you guys are not gonna watch it fully. Only about a couple seconds and click off.
The D. So I can't wait to see you guys next time on my channel. And until then, adios. Hi, welcome to the blooper reel, because there was a lot of bloopers in this. What is the Four Leaf Clover's favorite choice of music? The Shamrock. I'm gonna tell my boyfriend that horrible joke. Eric, what is a Four Leaf Clover's favorite type of music?
Let me think about it.
You're taking too fucking long.
I don't know.
Shamrock. Stupid eyelash is coming off. Nude. What's going on with you? Go down. Not you. You stay on.